Japan is something bizarre when it comes to time and punctuality. Here in Brazil, it is very common for people to be late, but in Japan, this is seen as something irresponsible. I was here on YouTube watching some videos, and he recommended me a video of this gringo here, and I want to share this story with you, because I found it very in the morning of July 6, 1990. Around Kobe, Japan, Ryoko Ishida, of 15 years, was late for school next to a friend. She was not identified in the reports and is called Girl A. And after making a bus connection, she went by train to Shinjuku Station. Arriving at 8:17, a train, a little later than she normally would, and from the station, she started the walk of 15 minutes to Katsuka High School by the route designated for students. 2 teachers were with megaphones doing the countdown until the bell rings in the morning and the students rush. The Katsuka High School had the reputation of having strict rules, but above all, students were expected to arrive early, and that they'd pass the school gate before the bell rang at 8 The late students were forced to go round the field, and then squat until the teachers certify themselves that they had learned the lesson before being authorized to go to the classroom. A third teacher, Toshihiko Ozoi, of 39 years, waited at the gate counting the seconds that were left until the signal of 8:30. At this point, the gate would be closed so that disciplinary measures could be applied to late students. Ozoi was known for being temperamental and for applying the rules with severity. He was a strong man and of great stature, which is believed to be the reason why he was in charge of closing the gate. And it was a gigantic gate, man. It was 6 meters higher, 200. It weighs about 30 kilos. It is very heavy. It was metal and slipped under the rails and required a considerable amount to be closed at 8:30 as soon as the bell rang. He started it to push the gate to close it, determined not to let any more students pass. A group of students ran to hear the bell, but stopped a little before it out. When he saw that the gate was already in motion, Ryoko and Girl A, seeing the students running, went after them. The hope of arriving before the gate was completely closed. In a last effort to enter the school grounds, they separated and surrounded the group, standing near the gate, but, Ryoko still seeming to think she could squeeze herself out of the gap between the concrete wall and the gate. He leaned forward as he ran, and did not slow down while running towards the entrance. Ryoko's head was stuck between the heavy gate and the concrete wall. A student who was looking ran and tried to push the gate back to release Ryoko. That had fallen and was curving on the ground. Ozoi, without realizing what had happened, believed that the student was trying to open the gate to pass and avoid punishment, and according to Consta, he called him an idiot while walked towards the end of the gate. When he arrived, he would have seen Ryoko lying on the floor with his head out of his ears. She was taken by ambulance to the hospital, a university hospital in Cope, and just less than 2 hours after the gate had hit it. She gave the impact of the portal your skull, fatally hurting your brain. The school's response to MOIL of one of his students who lived on the campus was at least terrible and bizarre. The students were forced to do their final exams as usual, and Ozoi himself administered the tests that day. Answering questions about the state of Ryoko, he simply said, she does but does not run the risk of life. When the police arrived at the place, called not by school officials, but by someone from the hospital, they discovered that the school had cleaned with hose could escape from Ryoko before they could conduct their investigation. The press quickly took the story, and it became national from one day to the next. The next day an assembly was held, and the reporters were present, and the director of the school. She simply said she should have come to school 10 minutes before, that this is a moment for you to rethink your, and do not arrive late. The investigation found that the force of the knock on the gate against the concrete wall would have been enough to crush even a safety helmet. The accusations of guilty homicide due to his negligence were presented against Ozoi. He defended himself, saying that the school board and the Department of Education were blamed for the lack of proper safety procedures, and that he could not have foreseen that a student would try to pass through the gap before closing the gate, and according to testimonies, students' bags and skirts of their uniforms were stuck in the gate a while ago, proving to the court that he knew of the danger of closing the gate in front of us. The court considered Osoi guilty of murder and sentenced him to 3 years of conditional freedom. And I didn't want to say anything, but I even found it a very light punishment for him. He could have had a little more, and as a result of that he lost his license as a teacher. In addition, a civil action was launched against the province government. Was resolved on November 16th of 1990, with a payment to the family of 60 million yen for the loss of his daughter. If the conversion I did is right, it's around 2 million reais, I think. And even today, Japan suffers a lot from it. Directly, I see there in the forums people from Japan complaining about things like that involving schools. So this is just one story of several others that are there. It is something really bizarre, man. And man, if people here in Brazil were punished for being late, everyone would be punished one day, because I don't know anyone who has never been late somewhere. But that's it. And that's it. That was today's video. Subscribe to the channel for you to receive more videos. Leave a like because it helps a lot. Also ask me something about the case, something you want me to comment. And until next time, okay? I'm Leonardo and you're on the Viroscope channel. Until next time.